Hey, I'm going to make this quick. This is a message I got yesterday after I said something in a video, and I think it could impact you. And if so, I want you to follow suit like this messenger did. I'm going to keep their identity anonymous here. I'm sorry I had to cancel my membership. It was only $2, but I'm on disability. It's getting harder to budget what I need. I debated a couple of months because if I could afford to, I'd give a lot more. The message at the end of one of your Wednesday shows finally let me see that it was okay. I still hate it. Thank you for the support you've given, even though you shouldn't have been giving to support this channel if you're on a disability, if you're on a fixed income. No, I say that all the time, and I mean it. There's a lot of people on YouTube who have channel memberships, who have merch, who have different fundraising mechanisms to support their work, and I'm no different. I guess maybe I am different in the way that I don't want your money if you don't have it to give. I want you to take care of yourself. It is what is paramount. It's what's most important, absolutely. So if you're in this situation, cancel your channel membership like this person did here, right here. I'm not going to encourage you to cancel on somebody else, but if it's me, cancel your membership if you're in a tight spot. Here is 45 seconds of what sparked this, and take it to heart. I mean it. If you don't have the money, cancel your membership. There are other ways to support. Anyway, here's what I said yesterday, and then we'll get straight to the video. On the note of supporting independent media, if you have an extra $2 a month, if it's extra and you could throw it out the window and you'd like to help support this on a monthly basis, please do. Not if you're on a fixed income. I do not want your money if it is painful or sacrificial in any way. Take care of yourself. That is what's most important, especially in these times. If you're giving right now as a channel member and it's painful to do so, turn off your channel membership. Please, please. But if you have $2 extra a month, become a channel member, click the join button below, or go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. So Donald Trump paused the tariffs, substituting a level 10% universal tariff across the board, in instantly creating 10% inflation, more 10% on top of what we already have. And his promise was to eviscerate high prices on day one. It only took him 80 or so days to actually increase prices, but he did it. And when asked specifically yesterday, he really tried to avoid the question. He talked a little bit and then goes, well, I'm going to go talk to these race car drivers now. I got to get away from this. He was asked specifically about why he did it, why he decided to reverse course when he promised he wasn't going to reverse course. There was not going to be a pause. There wasn't going to be any delay whatsoever. Not a shock that there is a frenetic incompetence related to this administration. But I want you to hear his answer, and then I'm going to go to the New York Times, and we're going to talk a little bit about the bond markets, which actually, it didn't matter. The stock market didn't matter to Donald Trump. He didn't give a shit about that. It was the bond market and people calling in debt from the Treasury that really got him spooked, because it could send the economy spiraling into a depression, the likes of which we've never seen. First, his answer on why exactly he did what he did.
Can you walk us through your thinking about why you decided to put a 90-day pause?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know? They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions, because we have a big job to do. No other president would have done what I did. No other president. I know the presidents, they wouldn't have done it. And it had to be done. What was happening to us on trade, not only with, you know, if you look at it, not only with China, but China was by far the biggest abuser in history, and others also, but somebody had to do it. They had to stop because it was not sustainable. Last year, China made $1 trillion off trade with the United States. That's not right. And now I've reversed it. It's for a short period of time, but we made $2 billion. We're making now $2 billion a day. And somebody had to do it. Roger actually said it. Charles Schwab was here a little while ago, one of the great financial people, and he said he's been waiting for 40 years for somebody to do what I did over the last month. And if you didn't do it, you wouldn't have a country. It wouldn't be sustainable. So I'm honored to have done it. And, look, nothing's over yet, but we have a tremendous amount of spirit from other countries, including China. China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how quite to go about it. It's one of those things they don't know how quite. They're proud people. And President Xi's a proud man. I know him very well. And they don't know quite how to go about it, but they'll figure it out. They're in the process of figuring it out, but they want to make a deal. And we have many other countries, as you know, many more than 75, and they all want to come. And they want to come here, or they'll go to Commerce, or they'll go to Treasury. We have our great senators here and congressmen. They'll call John. They'll do somebody. They'll go through somebody, but they're all calling. How do we do this? They all want to make a deal. Somebody had to do what we did, and I did a 90-day pause for the people that didn't retaliate, because I told them if you retaliate, we're going to double it. And that's what I did with China, because they did retaliate. So we'll see how it all works out. I think it's going to work out amazing. I think that our country is going to be at the end of a year or shorter, but I think we're going to have something that nobody would have dreamt possible. A man like Roger Penske, I don't want to get him in trouble with China, so I won't, but he would know that someday you have to cut the bow and you have to do what you have to do, right, Roger? And that's what I did, and I'm very happy to have done it.
If you are naive enough to give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt and take his answer at face value, one, I feel bad for you. I feel sorry for you. You don't exist in the reality that the rest of us do. But for Donald Trump to assert that he acted because they were getting yippy, they were getting a little yippy, a little bit afraid, he says, as though he didn't presume that would happen. He didn't think in advance that his tariffs would cause this reaction, despite all of the experts saying that it would. So then he's like, well, I was doing everybody a favor. They were getting afraid, so I paused them, even though he said he wouldn't pause them. That's not what happened. Also, it points to an absolute derelict leadership style. He doesn't have a leadership style, but this just proves that he is a derelict, that he is a demented goon who has no ability to lead whatsoever, even a small family company, certainly not the President of the United States and the government of the United States and the global economy by extension. This is the New York Times. This is the headline, From Be Cool to Getting Yippy. Inside Trump's reversal on tariffs, economic turmoil, particularly a rapid rise in government bond yields, caused President Trump to reverse course on the steep levies. In the end, it was the markets that got him to reverse course. The economic turmoil, particularly a rapid rise in government bond yields, caused Mr. Trump to blink on Wednesday afternoon and pause his quote-unquote reciprocal tariffs for most countries for the next 90 days. According to 4 people with direct knowledge of the president's decision. Asked to explain the decision, Mr. Trump told reporters, well, I thought that you heard what he just said, I'm not going to repeat it. Behind the scenes, senior members of Mr. Trump's team had feared a financial panic that could spiral out of control and potentially devastate the economy. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and others on the president's team, including Vice President J.D. Vance, had been pushing for a more structured approach to the trade conflict that could focus on isolating China as the worst actor, while still sending a broader message that Mr. Trump was serious about cracking down on trade imbalances. After his reversal on social media, Mr. Trump's team was put in the unenviable position of trying to spin the media that this was all part of the plan all along. A brilliant strategy straight out of the pages of the president's best-selling book, The Art of the Deal. Mr. Bessent went so far as to deny that the bond market had driven the change. When Mr. Trump came out to explain his decision on Wednesday, however, he undercut both Mr. Bessent and Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, citing the jittery market and saying he was acting instinctively more than anything else. Many of Mr. Trump's most senior advisors and officials were unaware of this major shift in policy until the last minute, because as recently as Wednesday morning, Mr. Trump was still indicating he was sticking to his previous plan. Look, oftentimes the most obvious explanation, the easiest explanation, the most simple explanation is the one that we should attach ourselves to. And that is what this is Donald Trump is just a dumb shit. Donald Trump is just a goofy goon, just a rube, just a simplistic, childlike understander of the world who is now in charge of the United States economy. And he has implemented a cult-like following around him. He leads a cult, and they all will destroy the United States and everything that goes with it in honor of Donald Trump, in service to Donald Trump. And we're witnessing it right now. And it's only because, hey, look, if Donald Trump had just said, no, we're sticking with this, we're going to do this, he would have destroyed the American economy. Not just done damage to, destroyed it. And it's only because of his panic that he didn't. He finally came to his senses, listening to expert after expert after expert after expert chirping in his ear. He didn't listen to J.D. Vance. He didn't listen to his Treasury Secretary, an expert in this field, who is just an obsequious, sycophant, bootlicking brown-noser now. Anyway, what do you think? It should be scary, and it is scary, that we are at the mercy of this maniac. Anyway, you can comment below. We can talk about it there. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, as always, daily@dollemore.com. I already talked about channel memberships, beginning of the video. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Keep chin up. Take care of one another.